Hello, everyone. I'm Mark.
I'm Rob.
And welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown, the best and hottest sports talk show in the universe. At least that's our goal. Anyways, hey, if you haven't subscribed to yet, please do so. We need more subscribers. We've only been around for like 10 weeks, so we're trying to build up. And guess what? Hit the notification bell when you do. And if you like the video, hit the like button. And we're inviting you to make intelligent, non-insulting comments, which people have been doing. And so I'm glad to hear that. Most YouTubers' comments are pretty bad. So, hey, Rob, what would you like to talk about?
WNBA playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about the playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope Indiana can win a game.
Well, Mark, they're right in there.
They're in there now, right? They just won right in Chicago again. So yeah. They're 5-2. Guess what? They're actually technically they're in 8th place because the games behind you're tied, but they have the tiebreak with Chicago because they kicked their butt twice. Just so you know.
That's why I said those games are important for them.
Rob, everyone knows, they had a really tough schedule the first 11 games, and they had that 20 days, and then they have like 109 days for their following 29 games, so it's like 3.5 days per game. So they're going to be resting there. And they also played a lot of the tougher teams at first. And so now they have the easiest schedule in the league. So I think they're going to start winning. And I think if they keep getting Caitlin Clark the ball, they're going to start winning for that reason also. And if Temi comes back from her injury, which we have no word on yet, I think that's going to make a big difference. What do you think, Rob?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, definitely. And they're starting to look like they're playing better defense, and they're starting to gel better as a team and offensively, defensively, and I think they're starting to pick it up a little bit more. So I think they have a good chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, Rob. The teams ahead of them, because they're in 8th, are Las Vegas Aces, who's missing Chelsea Gray, and they're struggling at 6-6 because they're the defending champs.
I'm really surprised.
They have enough talent that I think they're gonna keep above the Indiana Fever. The Phoenix Mercury is 7-7, but they just got Brittany Griner back, so I think they're going to be better than continue to get better. So I don't think they're going to catch them, and the other teams are too far ahead. I think realistically, except for the Atlanta Dream, who's 6-6, and they beat the Atlanta Dream, and they look better than the Atlanta Dream, and and they like I said, they've had a tougher schedule, so I think they can get as high as 7th, but I can't see them getting any higher. And if they're in 7th, they're going to have to play either Connecticut, New York, or Minnesota, and they'll probably get knocked out, pretty quickly, either 2-0 or 2-1. Go ahead, Rob.
But you never know. It's a 3-game series.
Right.
You never know.
So if you're new to the WNBA, like we are, I followed a little bit. But what happens is it's all eight out of the 12 teams make it. 1 plays versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3, 6, 4, 5, stuff like that. The first round is only best of 3. So your chance of an upset are greater, obviously, because there's fewer games. So they could upset somebody, could win 2-1 or something like that.
And I messed up. I'm sorry. And I messed up on that because I thought they were like the other sports where the conferences play, the Eastern Conference plays the Eastern Conference teams and the Western. This is for the top 8. So I was totally wrong on that. They take the 1 through 8, and then they play 1 to 8, 2 to 7.
Yeah.
It's a 3-game series.
The conference is kind of irrelevant in this case. Just like in the NBA, the divisions are irrelevant, but the Eastern Western Conference are relevant because divisions have nothing to do with how they 1 versus 8 in each conference. But anyways, that's why they do that. That came up on the live show. So there was a mistake on the live show that Rob said. I thought it was what it is. And so that's what it is, 1 versus 8. So anyways, let's see what happens. I don't think it's premature to say that, considering that they have an easier schedule than they did before, and they're in 8th place right now. And I think they have a team that can gel, especially if they get rid of Coach Sides and if Mitchell starts passing the ball and they keep giving the ball to Clark.
Like I said, though, I don't think they're going to – unfortunately, I don't think they're going to get rid of her during the mid-season. I think it's going to be next year.
Rob, one person's theory is they get rid of her on the break for the Olympics because there's like a 27 days there where there's no games. That's a lot of time to get. That's as long as their preseason and camp that they had. I think might have been longer. It was only there. They only had like 2 or 3 weeks of practice. So that's enough to start a new coach. So I think if they're not winning at that point, or if it's a disaster like it was in some games, you never know. So
Well, they play the Mystics next, and if they lose to the Mystics, then they're going to be. I think that might be a chant for coaches got to go.
that would be bad. That would be bad for them to do that, Rob. I don't want to see that happen because the Mystics are playing better. They've won a couple games, but they shouldn't lose to the Mystics. Anyway, so they've won 2 straight, 3 of 4, and 4 of 6 games. So that's kind of a hot team. It's not blazing hot, but I consider that hot. So, anyways, I think we're going to make the playoffs. Rob thinks they're going to make the playoffs. I think it's a realistic thing. I don't think we're being crazy about that. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. What you think their chances are, and what you think they need to do in order to make sure they make the playoffs, which are some of the things we just talked about.
Right.
I think one of the things that we want to talk about is in order to do that, they have to have the right starting lineup. Now, I've said since pretty early on when I saw Temi play that she should start. And I believe the starting lineup, this is my opinion, is Temi, Smith, Boston, Clark, and unfortunately Mitchell, because she doesn't pass the ball. But she's too talented. They don't have enough talent to just bench her completely, which I would have done about 12 games ago for never passing the ball. But it still exists, so we can't do anything about that until Coach Sides or a new coach does something about it. Rob, who would you be your starting lineup?
You just picked my starting lineup. That's who I would start, definitely.
Okay, so Rob, let's assume. So I've said in past videos that they finally did what I told the coach to do, is to rest Clark in the first 3 minutes of the second quarter. So she has the additional rest of between quarter rest, which is 4 minutes, and then she gets the rest for those 3 minutes, which is actually more than 3 minutes. And that's a nice, really long rest. You get really refreshed. Do the same thing, say the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then she's fresh for the end. And do that again and play her 35 minutes. She won't burn out and everything's cool. If it's a close game like last time, play her 37 minutes. I don't care. But I think that's what she should do, and then play Wheeler those 5 minutes only unless there's a blowout one way or the other. And then, so let's assume that's what we're going to do, and you're the coach. Rob, who would be your other 3 players, assuming Wheeler's like the 9th person because she's going to only play 5 minutes? Who's your other 3 players that you would put in as substitute into the game?
Well, Coach Rob would definitely bring Wheeler off the bench and sub her for Clark. Like you said, she does a good job of giving Clark a break. Now, Samuelson, I would put in. Now, you were looking for 3-point shooters. Samuelson, her last 2 games, has been 3 out of 4 for 3-pointers. And then the other game they lost to Connecticut Sun, she was 2 for 6. And then the other game when they won before that with the Mystics, they were 2 for 4. She was 2 for 4. So there's your other 3-point shooter, Samuelson.
Okay.
Put her in, and then.
Rob, before you go on to the next player, I just want to give some stats on Samuelson, and then you go on to your next player. Is that? Oh, you're done. You still talking about Samuelson?
No, I'm done.
Okay. So for Samuelson, I looked this up just because I agree with Rob that you want 3-point shooters to surround Clark, and I think it's important in the WNBA because they have lousy skills around the basket and they miss too many shots. But Samuelson in college shot 41.5%, and she's shooting 45.5% this year. And for her career in the WNBA, she shoots 35.2. So I agree with Rob. She's definitely a good 3-point shooter. So go ahead, Rob. Who's your next person?
And of course, the last one would be a Hull. What she's been doing, she's been putting her in. She plays good defense. She played 21 minutes. Though she only scored 6 points, she handles defense, and she's a nice sub to come in there to help out with the team. She's got that Stanford experience and knowledge of basketball. That's why I really like her also. So those would be my 3.
So, Rob, how many minutes would you play Wheeler an average, do you think we're talking about?
Well, depending. I mean, you said 5, but I mean, I probably would play her a little longer than 5 minutes. That's
all right.
not
So that's your
long.
8. All right. I'm going to list 9 because I'm only playing Wheeler for 5 minutes. I don't consider that much of in the rotation to substitute. So I agree. Samuelson should be been there. In fact, she'd be the first person I put in off the bench. Give me some 3-point shooting right off the bat. By the way, Lexi Hall, just so you mentioned her is one of the points. She was 2-time Pac-10 all defensive team, not defense player of the year or anything like that in college. So she's a good defender, and she looks like a good, and she hustles out there. You can watch her play. And for some reason, the coach doesn't like her this year because I looked it up and she plays fewer minutes than she was last year. I don't know why. I'm just saying that's what happened. And her 3-point shooting, I looked this up, is 37.4 in college. and 37.5 this year. So that's pretty consistent. But her career in the WNBA is only 22.7. But she hasn't had a lot of shots in the WNBA. So just for background, you can judge it however you want. I'm just giving you the stats. So I would put in Christy Wallace, give her some playing time. She's from Australia, by the way, and she made the Big Ten All-Defensive Team also 1 year. She shoots 38.3% in college, 37.7 this year, and 39.9 for a career. So she's a good three-point shooter. So I would give Christy Wallace playing time along with Samuelson, and I would also put in Lexi Hall. Now that's unfortunate because I would like to see Celeste Taylor play, but you're asking me like who I think the best players are. Those are the 8 best players, and along with Wheeler's in 9th. But I'm only giving her 5 minutes unless it's a blowout, or someone gets in foul trouble or something like that. Because I don't think it meshes with Clark.
I have to disagree with that because when they were on the court before, she was bringing the ball up and Clark was the off, and then they were setting screens for Clark. And Wheeler, one of the few players that would pass to her. So, I mean, that helps out a lot. She would help out a lot with Clark.
Yes, sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't. I agree that sometimes it does, but it's just consistently it doesn't for my taste. But that's me. Now, Celeste Taylor, if you don't know, she was at Duke. She was ACC, Big Ten was ACC Defensive Player of the Year at Duke. And then she went to Ohio State, and she was Defensive Player of the Year for the Big Ten. So two times in a row, she was Conference Defensive Player of the Year. So she's obviously an excellent defender, which is why they drafted her before Kate Martin, because Kate Martin went next to the Las Vegas Aces. And some people think they should have drafted Kate Martin. And I agree, especially if you're not going to play Taylor.
Right.
So the coach sides keep saying, well, I'm disappointed with her defense, but she never plays Taylor. Well, at least give her a chance. I don't see him in practice, so I don't know who's playing the best in practice or in preseason games. But I did see the preseason games, but I guess that's what's happening. But even the game when she benched everybody, she should have put her in right away if she was complaining about defense, and she only played her 7 minutes, and like other people played like 20. So I don't understand that, Rob. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, how can you say like she's not doing anything? We can't. She's not even being played. It's kind of hard to do that. Oh, I don't think she's that good. Well, can you maybe if you play her, give her some time, she can show you. Like you said, I'm not at practice, but give her some time and see what happens.
And some people are Grace Berger fans, but she's never made an all-defensive team. And in college, she shot 30.6% at the three-point line. So I don't think that's a good fit. I don't think they need defense and they need three-point shooting, in my opinion. And in the WNBA, she shot 47.4%, but she hasn't had very many shots. And this year, she shot 50% three-point. But I don't think that's her normal three-point shooting, given what her whole college career, she shot 30.6%. I could be wrong. Maybe she worked on her game and she's a great three-point shooter now. But I don't think she's as good a defender as the other players. So, unfortunately, and then the other player is Victoria Saxon, and she's not in the rotation at all, so there must be a reason why. I don't know anything about her. She went to South Carolina, and she won a championship, but she wasn't a big star. Anyways. So, Rob, that's what I would do. Some people, one person, we had this debate in the live show. That's what this came up, and one person said they would actually start Celeste Taylor and Lexi Hall. And sorry, I don't agree with that. But that everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't think Celeste Taylor hasn't proven she should be a starter in this league yet. I agree she hasn't been given a chance, but she's been in a lot of practices. And of course, Coach Sides probably isn't a good judge of talent, so maybe it's not a good argument.
Right.
So I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. And same thing with Grace Berger. Lexi Hall has been with the team for 3 years, so she's seen her enough to figure out whether or not she's been there. So, anyways, that's what I would do. I think Samuelson would give you the 3-point shooting off the bench to give you something, and Wallace plays some defense. But I don't think she should be a starter. She's only starting now, I think.
So you need that. Being that I like to be the bench player. I used to come off the bench, and that was my thing. I'd come in and I'd play defense, or to get the off. I'd see what's going on for a rebound, or to get the team going. Hit a couple of quick points, and that would get the team going. And that's what Samuelson can do. That's
and Lexi Hall, Rob. Lexi Hall too, because she has a lot of energy.
Oh yeah, Lexi Hall. Yeah, I mean those. Like I said, those two. Those would probably be the first two coming into the game if I would sub in if I was coaching.
Right.
Definitely.
So that gives you 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
They all were, at least in college, made an all defensive conference team. Wallace did, Lexi Hall did. Samuelson didn't, but she's a really good 3-point shooter and she got good size. So those two, that's why I would put them in. They can shoot the three a little bit. And then Samuelson. So those are the three I would use. And Wheeler, I'd only put in like in the circumstances that I said. Let us know what you think. I don't think Sides will ever figure it out, no matter what's right.
No, I think she flips a coin in the huddle. Let's see, and okay.
The more I think about it, the less I think about her as a coach. So, anyways, let us know what you think. Like I said, please join our. This came up on the live show last night, so that's why we're talking about it. So come to the next live show and you can talk about it, and you can call in or you can make comments down below. It's every Monday except for major holidays, Eastern time, 7 to 8. And guess what? If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that notification bell, especially if you're under 45. We're looking for subscribers under 45. So join us if you can. Like the video if you do, and make some intelligent, non-insulting comments. And that's all we have for today.
I think, are we going to have a Sides watch to when she's going to be fired?
There's a clock. I saw a clock. I countdown clock.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we have a clock?
I don't know where I saw it, but yeah. Tick, tick. Someone made a comment about that. Tick, 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 tick in one of our videos. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll get on another video. There's some rumors going around about that. But I want to stick with the playoffs and lineup. All right.
All right.
Everyone. Thanks for your help.